everybody. Today we are going to do a comprehensive video on what our level 3 front end package consists of. Okay, so when you order a level 3 package at Nowaskey.com, what you're going to end up getting is a complete set of assembled forks ready to slip in the triple trees of your bike. Now this is an awesome kit for you guys working at home. You don't have to worry about measuring fluids, driving seals, having any weird specialty tools or anything like that. We're taking care of all of it for you. So you have a complete fork assembly. You take your motorcycle, slip your old one out, slip your new Nowaskey fork assembly in, boom, going back together and ready to go. So this is a really popular kit of ours that everybody is really loving. So our standard package comes with Dominator fork lowers, and these can be black, chrome, or raw machined, and they are available with radial mount or axial mount brake mounts. Okay, so this is a radial mount setup that we're doing. So this is black radial mount fork lowers. This particular setup is +2 fork tubes. So these are Pro 1 fork tubes, the only thing we use in gold. So we have gold, black, and chrome for fork tubes. We have our Nowaskey 49mm fork cartridges here, individually dyno tuned and matched and paired and ready to go to optimize the ride of your motorcycle. And I had mentioned that this is going to be +2, so we have our +2 cartridge extensions here. So I'm going to show you how that works. And then we have a new seal kit here, and these are the dust covers, so it's +2. So we're using the seals and the dust covers. Of course, our Nowaskey oil, and here we have the axle and nuts and spacers. This will just go in the box for the customer. And speaking of the customer, this level 3 fork package is going out to none other than Chris, aka Sick Wide Glide on YouTube. So before I get started on this project, first, coffee. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not gonna dilly-dally around sucking down coffee. Let's get back to work. All right. So the first thing that I like to do, even though these components are new, I want to clean the internals out with a good parts washer, brake clean. I have some middle of the road brake clean here that I'm gonna use on the lowers and the tubes. And then from there, we'll extend the cartridges and we'll get putting this thing together. So watch me work. All right, so I just use an old garbage can here because I do this all the time, right? Every day. So I'm going to spray liberally the brake clean in here, and then so you're probably gonna wanna do that a couple times. I like to use the little nozzle so I can try to direct the spray right to the bottom, because usually they're dirty at the very bottom. Like I said, guys, these were machined and anodized and everything else, so you just can never be too careful. And when you're running really awesome quality suspension, all the details matter. There we go. So don't let me forget to tell you about fork tubes, but that's going to happen after we put our extensions on, because then it'll make more sense. All right, I don't want to bang that around, so I'm just going to reorganize here a little bit. That stuff's just going to get packaged up. I want to get my lower fork legs out of here. Move this over. So I just do one at a time here. So this is the cool thing about Nowaskey suspension products is that we have so many options. This being one of them. See that? We loosen that jam nut. Spin that leg off. We take our extension, screw it back on. I typically do not use Loctite on these because they're lock nutted. And if you ever want to take them apart, after you Loctite them, it's brutal. Where's it going to go anyway, right? It's all in the fork tube. There we go. There we go. In case anybody's wondering, that's 1 1/8 for the jam nut, 1 inch to hold the extension, 7/8 to hold the stake. I told you, I always call it the stake. You know who got me going on that? Jeff Ryan. Okay, one done. There we go. Keep looking over there, forgetting I moved these. As far as I know, we're the only company that does this. For the record, I don't like using fork tube extensions in any way for anything, not that it would work with the cartridge, but this allows us to use one cartridge in many ways. This particular spacer that I'm using, as I said, is for +2, but we have inch, what do we have? 3/4 inch, 1.5 inches, 2, 2.5, 3, and so on. We have a lot of these extensions for different applications. Some of them are very specialized, but nonetheless, we do a lot of performance stuff here, racing and other things too, so we got to have options, right? There we go. Boom. +2 cartridge right there. So I was going to talk to you about fork tubes. So I'm just going to put the top out spring on here and slip it in the tube, and then I'll start my conversation. See how when we drop that in there, the threads are just almost engaged, right? Not quite, but just almost engaged. Now, depending, I mean, it could be a little bit different than this, but the point is we just want enough pressure on here for our top out spring and to put a little preload on that. There's already preload on the cartridge spring. So we just don't want things to rattle around in there. So why was I going to talk about fork tubes? So our kits are designed around Pro 1 fork tubes. We like them for a lot of reasons, but different fork tubes are actually different. Well, that's funny, right? Different fork tubes are different. But let's say you have, this is a +2 bagger 49mm tube. So different companies and different brands, they aren't all exactly the same. They don't measure exactly the same, I'm here to tell you. So in order to optimize the performance of the suspension, you want this all set up as best you can. So let's say you're running a different brand fork tube or whatever, and you end up putting this cartridge in, and then all of a sudden you're like sticking this far out of the tube for some weird reason, right? Or it drops all the way into the threads and you tighten it down and then you shake it and you can hear the spring rattle. Again, that's differences in fork tubes. So one thing I talk about, if you guys ever call me and we're talking on a phone about this, I'm gonna put this in the video here right now and I'm gonna talk about measuring the internal length of the fork tube, the installed, for our cartridge, the installed length. So if you take this tape measure and you slide it inside the fork tube, it's gonna stop, okay? Right? It's gonna hit the internal part of the tube down at the bottom, so it's not sticking out. Now, that's important because that, see if I'm sticking my finger down in here, like I have to stick my finger all the way in order to hook the edge in there. And again, I'm trying not to be technical, I'm just trying to make the point that we want this length from the top out spring. This is what we're looking at, right? From the top out spring to installed depth. So you slide that in there. I know I'm beating this to death, but there you can see this is set up perfect. So when we put our front end kits together, we like Pro 1 tubes. If you're gonna use different brands of tubes, that's fine. Just make these measurements and these checks, and like I said, we have all kinds of different extensions here. So if I wanted to make this a little longer, I literally could loosen the jam nut, turn it out a couple threads and re-jam it to get a little more tension on that spring if I wanted to, or for a different fork tube, you could get a different length spacer. So I think I've talked about that enough. It's important. Pick up the phone, call me, send an email if you have a question about it, but Pro 1 fork tubes. All right. There we go. Now, we got our cartridges ready to go. I'm sniffling a little. I know Nick is too. Allergies are crazy around here right now. So, all right. So we have brand new bolts and crush washers here that we're gonna use. I already talked about that. So let's just get down to business of putting these things together. It's really quick and easy, so. I'm just gonna take a little fluid here and wipe on the bushings. Being that these, so I'm just taking a little fork oil or shock oil and just wiping it on there. You don't want to put anything together dry for any reason. So like I said, these level 3 fork packages is literally every single thing is new. So let's get, should we put all this stuff on here too right away, Nick? Let's go ahead and do it. Take our fork seal, put a little lubrication on it. There. Little lubrication on it. Get it slipped over there. Look at that. Okay, now making sure that we have our top out spring. There we go. Slip them babies in there. Spin them around. Our fork legs are already cleaned up. We don't need that stuff right now. So we need the blue Loctite. No need to overdo it, but there we go with the little blue. Speaking of blue, I watched the Blues Brothers last night. Classic. Love that movie. So I've told you guys before, I do this by feel because I do it every day. This is my equipment, my tools. So I'm not going to be pulling out torque wrenches and stuff. I promise you that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Okay. Okay. You got to pull, well, you don't have to, I have to. So this is only for me, because this is level 3. I suppose if you buy legs from us, you're gonna have to know it, but this one pinch bolt down here interferes with the access point of this. So I'm gonna start both of these bad lads here, and click. So I'm just holding this cartridge from the top. Again, I know how my gun is set, so there we go. All right, look at that. Time to drive a seal. Got the clip in. Now I'm going to put the dust seals will be the last thing I put in. I like to hit it a couple extra times just in case. Okay. Now, you guys are all going to get these 2 bottles of oil that are pre-measured. It's 150 cc's. This oil is really lightweight. It's like 3 weight. As I've said in other videos, this fluid is to lubricate bushings and seals in here, and it's not working. It's not doing the work. That's a better way to put it. So being I'm doing it on the bench, I'm going to use my ratio right, and I'm going to measure out 150 cc's. I feel like a nurse. 150 cc's stat. Wait a minute, I'm the doctor. Let's get that right. There we go. There we go. Now, hey, so a while back, somebody gave me some advice on a new vise. I'm going to look into it when I get time. Yes, this isn't ideal. We just started building forks in here, and my good vise is out in the other room. And that thing is old, man. Like, I don't even know how old it is, but you all know the old stuff is the good stuff, right? Like my press back there, it's like 100 and something years old. Screw press. Better than any piece of, any arbor press you can get today. So when I clamp these forks in here, you'll notice that I always clamp them. You want to be below the threads where you're screwing it in, but you want to be above where the bottom triple tree would be. That way, if your vise leaves any marks or anything, like, you're not gonna see it, right? And you don't want to be clamping on the tube up here where you're screwing stuff into it. All right, Doc, 150 cc's, stat. What does stat mean, Nick?
Stat.
I know it means on the double, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of as quick as possible.
Right, so what is it? Stat.
I don't know.
Hey, if you know what stat means, put it in the comments below. Yeah, baby. So I can feel this one is a little more snug here, which is fine. Should get broke in pretty quick. Just needs to move around, get a little juice on it, you know? Now, well, you know how I like to wipe everything down. Put a little, just a little bit on the inside of them. Well, there we go. All right. Try to get it. Oh, one side always goes in first. Come on now. Now, put this pinch bolt in. Of course, I'm not going to Loctite it or anything because Chris is going to install it. Okay, so I got those two lower pinch bolts put back in, and guys, there you have it. It's a thing of beauty right here. This is a level 3 Nowaskey fork package. We've literally combined the best components available to put together a complete package of front forks for your Harley Davidson. So this is a plus two, but again, remember, we have a lot of different options, a lot of different colors, and you can find this all at nowaskey.com. So we have level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 complete fork packages depending on the options you want. Again, this is level 3. This is a very popular package, especially for you guys at home that just want to swap it out quick. So I think that concludes our level 3 fork video. Chris, I hope they look good and I hope your customer's happy, and I'm sure we're gonna see this on your YouTube channel. So stay off the coffee and get to work, Chris, and get this done for the customer. I know he wants it and he's gonna be happy. So there you have it. Level 3 fork package, nowaskey.com. If you like these videos, Subscribe, leave us a comment, and tell us what you think.